What is going on, everyone? It is Jacob Spins, and today we are going to be doing a Black MIDI tier list. And for those of you who do not know, Black MIDI just recently broke up, so I'm going to be ranking all of the output that Black MIDI has given us. Now they are currently going on their own separate directions, either working on solo albums or accompanying other musicians for their work. So this is all we got. I'm going to be ranking it all. Towards the end of the ranking, I am going to be going over the Cowbell cover songs. So I will be adding those into the list as well. They just do not have a tier list made that has the spot for it. So let's get started. All right, so first up we have Crow's Perch. This is the first single that was ever released by Black MIDI, and I think it honestly does a perfect job at getting the listener ready for what's about to come with Schlagenheim. Because Schlagenheim is an album that it is noisy and it's chaotic, and Crow's Perch is exactly that. However, I think the production could use a little work. I think that the vocals on it sometimes get a little bit swallowed up by the instrumentation in the back, and it can be a little bit difficult to make out exactly what Group is saying. So for that, just kind of on a sole production standpoint, I am going to put it in the D tier. I think it is one of the weaker Black MIDI songs in the discography. I think that almost noisy, crazy production style that they mastered later on in their discography, this was definitely kind of just the workshop of it all. This was them experimenting and saying, hey, what do the people think about this? All right, so next up we have Talking Heads. This song is just straight fun. This is just a fun song that from start to finish, it's loud, it's chaotic, but it does something that Crow's Perch fails to do, and that is catch a groove. This song is so much fun to listen to because it's catchy, and it's still a little bit hard to make out what Greep says on the song. That kind of will be a theme throughout the Black MIDI catalog. His voice can tend to be a little bit more difficult to understand what he's saying. But this song, nonetheless, is just a fun song. It is groovy, it is dancey. You just can't help but just smile when you listen to this song. It's just truly a fun song, and for that, I'm putting it in the B tier. Yeah. All right, so next up, we have our first song off of Schlagenheim. We have 953, and man, what an opener this is. It's got some harsh, catchy guitars in the back, and it's our first introduction to the man that is Geordie Greep, and we get our first look at his vocal style and his weird, eerie writing style with his lyricism, but it works so perfect. This song is Schlagenheim. If someone were to just say, hey, I heard about this band Black MIDI, what do you recommend? Where should I start? I'm telling them to start with Schlagenheim. This song is the perfect introduction to what they are going to be getting into. So for all those reasons and more, this song, you just need to give it a listen. There's really no way of describing it. I'm going to be putting it in the S tier. All right, so next up we have our first Cameron Picton vocal song, Speedway. This song, when I first listened to it, it was nothing super exciting to me, but as I've listened to the Black MIDI discography over and over again, this song has stuck out because it's a little bit more calm than the other Black MIDI songs tend to be. And this song doesn't necessarily build to anything super grand, but despite that, it has almost a linear vibe throughout the whole song, and the lyricism on it is very, very visual, and it paints a perfect picture of this dystopian land that is Schlagenheim. And I just love the groove throughout it. It's super fun to listen to, especially like on a car ride, just having the song come on. You just feel it. It feels good. And so for that, I'm putting it in the A tier. All right, so next up we have the third song off of Schlagenheim, Reggae. And this isn't my favorite song off of Schlagenheim. I would actually consider it to be my least favorite. However, it does kind of show Black MIDI's ability to start off with a simple just idea of a concept of a song and then build it, and then by the end of the song you get to something just so chaotic, but so grand at the same time. And they will go on to perfect this in later songs. I think this is one of the weaker versions of it. And so I would kind of put it alongside Crow's Perch in the D tier. All right, so next up we have Near Detroit, Michigan. And this is another Cameron Picton vocal song, and it is just insane. Like if you have not listened to Black Midi before and you go into this song, you are going to be just you're going to be a little bit overwhelmed. It is a loud song. However, I think it works in its favor because this song, the point of the song, obviously, it's to call out the problems with the water contamination in Michigan. That is a big problem, and I think that the loud screaming vocals, I think that accompanies it perfectly, and it really just gets the message sent. However, it's a little bit short, so I think this is a good C tier. I do think this is a good C tier. All right, and next up we have Western. I think that out of all the songs off of Schlagenheim, this song is definitely probably the hardest to digest. It is long, it's about 8 minutes long, and it's separated into a few different sections where it starts off a little slow and then it builds and then it's loud. It really is a perfect encapsulation of what is Black Midi. It is the writing on it can be a little bit disturbing at times, talking about leaving people in a ditch. Like it can be a little bit like, it definitely has its share of kind of just jaw-dropping moments on it. However, this is Black Midi. I love this song. This was one of the first songs by Black Midi that I really just caught my attention. This is another S tier song. The more you listen to it, the better it gets, the more stuff you catch on to, and it really just shows off Black Midi's ability to just make just complicated music. It's great. All right, and now we have Of Schlagenheim. This song kind of goes hand in hand with Speedway. I feel like Speedway kind of builds the world of Schlagenheim, and Of Schlagenheim is more of a description of how life is there and the conditions that they're living in this dystopian land. And the lyricism on this song is so just out of this world, out of pocket, strange, talking about wanting to fall in love with somebody with the teeth of a porcupine and the hands of a raven. And it's just so strange, but it's one of those songs where like once you look past that, it's just an enjoyable song to listen to. It has that Schlagenheim era Black Midi build up where it starts off a little bit slow, and as the song progresses it gets louder and louder until it hits this climax, this grand piece where it's just 30 seconds of just chaos, just encapsulated in music form. And this song is exactly that. This song is chaos in music form. But like I said, it is a pretty enjoyable listen. I am going to stick this in the B tier with Talking Heads. All right, and so next up we have none other than bmbmbm. The song that put Black Midi on the map is kind of their self-titled song. This song is just insane that it exists. It sounds like you took the guitars and the bass and the drums and the vocals from 4 different songs and then put them together and it somehow worked. This song shows off Morgan Simpson's, it's kind of an introduction to how insane Morgan Simpson is at playing the drums. This is on the record. I believe that Morgan Simpson is the greatest drummer of our generation. He's just otherworldly talented, and this song is something from another world as well. I really recommend you go give it a listen if you haven't heard it before. And just, you know what, for this video, I want the comment section to be your thoughts and opinions on bmbmbm by Black Midi. And yes, as well, I'm also going to be throwing this in the S tier. All right, so next up we have Years Ago. This song is very similar to Near Detroit, Michigan. It's another shorter Cameron Picton vocal song where there's a build up to him where he's kind of whispering and speaking softly, and then it turns it up to 100, and now he's screaming at the top of his lungs. And I really do love this song. I think it is a little bit more palatable than Near Detroit, Michigan is. However, I think it lacks the punch of the message that Near Detroit, Michigan has. And so for that reason, I am going to be putting it in the C tier alongside Near Detroit, Michigan. So, yeah. All right, so last but not least for Schlagenheim, we have Ductor, which could not be a more perfect closer for such a strange and experimental album. It tells almost like a little story about a man who gets trapped by a scientist, and just by being trapped, he outsmarts him and outwits him just by doing nothing. And this song has it's a masterclass in exposition and payoff. It starts off with these verses just explaining like the scenario, and then it cuts off into these bridge-like sections where it's just repeating lines of "He will not break me," almost as if he was getting interrogated, and then the song almost restarts and it starts back from the beginning and it tells the second half of the story. It is just a masterclass in storytelling style of lyricism, and it also is perfect in its ability to catch a groove despite being very chaotic. This song is perfect. This is my favorite song off of Schlagenheim. Easily S tier. Easily S tier. All right, so first up for Cavalcade, we have a little bit of a hot take. We have John L. And personally for me, this song never really stuck the landing like it did for a lot of the people in the Black Midi fan base. A lot of them consider this to be the best song off of Cavalcade. I consider this song to be one of the weaker songs. I just think it's a little bit long. It doesn't necessarily catch my interest like a lot of the songs on this album do. But it does do a good job of surrounding the listener in a soundscape and transporting them to a different world, which I think is something that they tried doing on Schlagenheim but didn't necessarily hit the mark. And I think this song kind of sparks the beginning of Black Midi gaining that ability to transport the listener to a different world. However, I am going to be sticking it in the C tier. And you can feel free in the comments, tell me what your thoughts about John L. are. Maybe I'm missing something and I just haven't given it enough listens, which is probably not true. I've listened to every single Black Midi song many, many times, but just put something down in the comments. Just give me a reason why you love the song, if you do. All right, so next up we have a song, Marlene Dietrich, which basically just takes every single thing that you know about Black Midi, throws it in the trash, and says, hey, we're going to build a song that is beautiful and has a lush soundscape, and Greep's normal, aggressive, harsh vocals kind of just turn into this operatic, melody that just rides and flows over this instrumentation. And this song is beautiful. I think that further down the line, Black Midi takes that ability and they work on it a little bit better. This is kind of, again, like the groundwork for future songs, but nonetheless, it does a great job of introducing that side to Black Midi, and I will happily throw this in the B tier. So yeah. All right, so next up we have Contra Malaysia Patea, which is a strange name for a song, but it perfectly describes it, because this song is back to what makes Black Midi Black Midi. It is loud, punchy guitars over fantastic drum playing from Morgan Simpson, and just a groovy song. And although I usually prefer the more lush soundscapes, just in general with music, I am going to put this song in the B tier alongside Marlene Dietrich. because what this song lacks in beauty, I think it just makes up for in just pure fun and just groovy listening. I know I say groovy a lot, but Black Midi really does do a good job at finding grooves. So yeah, I'm thinking the B tier for this one. All right, so next up we have Slow, which is Black Midi's first attempt at taking a soundscape that is aggressive and beautiful and mixing it together into one song. And the payoff is spectacular. This song is it's a little bit longer as well. It's around 6 minutes, but the way that the song just carries itself and builds, and then it has it'll like have a climax, and then it'll come back down, and then you'll get like a bridge, and it just transports you, and it's spectacular. I really recommend this song if you haven't given it a listen. I am going to be throwing this song in the A tier. All right, so next up we have Diamond Stuff, and this is one of my favorite songs off of Cavalcade. It takes that lush soundscape that Black Midi was experimenting with this album, and kind of does a little callback to Schlagenheim, with the lyricism being very kind of just eerie, bone-chilling, just strange. And this time we have Cameron Picton kind of just whispering over this background noise of what sounds like miners like hitting oars in some sort of cave. And this song really is just it's something else. It's music that was never even thought that it could be created, but you just got to be thankful that it exists when it does. And so for that reason, I'm easily sticking this song in the S tier. All right, so next we have Dethroned, which is probably my most listened to song off of Cavalcade. This song is jazzy, and it's just something that only Black Midi can make. The amount of chemistry needed to create this song is just undescribable, and they did it perfectly. The guitar riffs on this song they just rock. This song is amazing, and I'm no doubt about it putting it in the S tier along with Diamond Stuff. The back half of Cavalcade is just spectacular. So the second to last song off of Cavalcade is Hogwash and Balderdash. Another just kind of, I would describe this song as loony. This song is very just zany and goofy, and the writing on this song is funny, but the instrumentation on it is something to behold, because the playing is just so impressive and technical that you kind of just have to sit there and be like, give them their praise, because this is a masterclass in just playing instruments. It's so technical. Every single note is heard, every single note is important, and with that being said, it is a little bit of a shorter song as well. It doesn't necessarily have that same impact that a lot of the songs off of Cavalcade have. However, this song is just a fun song, so I'm going to be throwing it in the B tier. For our last song off of Cavalcade, we have Ascending Forth. This is probably my favorite Black Midi song to exist. It is long, it has a perfect build-up, the vocals on it, again, they're very operatic, but they're very passionate, and the end of the song, you will get goosebumps every single time you listen to it. This song is perfect. Like I said that about, bmbmbm, Dr. All those. All of these songs in the S tier are perfect, but this song in particular just hits a part of your brain and your heart that just you did not know existed. And I can easily say that this is one of the songs that got me into loving music the way that I do. And I'm going to be putting this in the S tier, but really this song deserves a tier of its own. So yeah. Alright, so now we are on to the third and final LP from Black Midi, Hellfire. This album starts off with a song that, again, is kind of building the world that we should just kind of expect to be in for the next, hour or so with this album. and it's a little bit strange. It's a faster vocal delivery than what we're used to from normal Black MIDI songs. Not such crazy instrumentation. I kind of see this song as kind of like an interlude, even though it's the intro to the album. So I'm going to be putting it in the C tier. Funny enough, I still think I would prefer to listen to this than Reggae and Crow's Perch. But it doesn't do anything to really just wow me. So yeah. Alright, so next up we have Sugar Zoo, which tells a story about two large wrestlers, and they're fighting in a ring, and then somebody. It's a story. I'm not gonna spoil it, but go listen to it for yourself. But this song is again very jazzy. It has a lot of very technical playing to it. The main riff of the song is very, very catchy, and just if you were to pick up a guitar and even think about playing that song, you need to rethink your decisions, because that song is difficult to play on the guitar. People consider this to be Black MIDI's best song to date. I prefer their more lush sounding songs, so this song doesn't hit for me the same way it does. However, I cannot deny that this is brilliant. Like this is a brilliant song, and so I'm going to be putting it in the A tier. Next we have Eat Men Eat, which is a Cameron Picton song, and in terms of the Black MIDI catalog, I think that this song does the best job at storytelling. It tells a story of a soldier who is dealing with the hard conditions of war, and his experience with it. This song's awesome. The lyricism on it is great. I think the song is crafted perfectly. This is going to be the first S tier song off of Hellfire. Next we have Welcome to Hell. This is just Black MIDI in its best, purest form. It is hard-hitting drums, probably the best drumming I've ever heard on any song ever. And yeah, sorry Rush fans, give me Morgan Picton. Not Morgan Picton, Morgan Simpson. Yeah, Welcome to Hell is perfect. It is a perfect song, and I know I say that for a lot of songs. I do think that a lot of songs are perfect. However, there are songs out there that exceed that perfect, like such as Ascending Fourths. So this is also going to go in the S tier. This is probably my second favorite song off of Hellfire. So yeah, I love this song to death. Next we have what is probably my third favorite song off this album, Still, which is another kind of slow burning Cameron Picton song. It's played on the acoustic guitar, and this song is really just like, it is the definition of a soundscape. It starts off and it's just saying, hey, I will always wait for you. And then at the end of the song, it turns into like, almost if you're sitting in a garden and you hear like water flowing and this song, again, it's one of those songs you just need to listen to. It's almost indescribable. There's multiple sections to the song, and I could probably sit here for an hour and talk about just this song alone. So I'm just gonna skip that and stick it in the S tier. Alright, so I'm not sure if this opinion is super controversial. The race is about to begin is insane. It is, I believe it's the longest song off of the album, and it is non-stop chaos, but it's controlled chaos, which is something that I think makes it differ from a song like something on Schlagenheim. It's a lot more controlled, and it's trying its hardest to tell a story. However, I think there is a little bit too many moving parts to this story. I think it would take a lot of listens to really get every single thing out of this song. And I just don't think that Hellfire is that kind of album where you need to listen to it over and over and over and over again to get the message, because some of the songs can be really good at being direct and getting to the point immediately, and this song kind of just stands out. I personally think it runs a little bit long, and it kind of just gets tiring to listen to. There's no part of the song where it gives you a break to breathe. It's very, very claustrophobic song. However, again, I do not think it's as bad as it does not belong in the D tier. It's still a very special song, and I listen to it about as much as I listen to Hellfire. So I think that the C tier is appropriate for this song. Now for my favorite song off of Hellfire, we have Dangerous Liaisons. When I first listened to this song, I didn't necessarily get how important it was going to be. It was just kind of another filler song for me when I first listened to it. And then I started to listen to more types of music, and I got into jazz, and I got into all of this, these other kinds of music, and I realized the genius of this song. It blends jazz and rock perfectly together to tell this grotesque story of this man who works on a farm, just killing this man with his bare hands to get some money, and the man turns out to be Satan, who gave him the money and sends him to hell. It's off. Like, this song is spectacular. The lyricism on it is fantastic. The storytelling is Black Midi at its best. Again, on par with Eat Men Eat. And I hold this song in a very special place because me and my best friend, we quote this song all the time. And this song just rocks. This song is something else. Probably my second favorite Black Midi song, behind Ascending Fourths. Next up, we have The Defense. When I first listened to this song, I was kind of shocked. This song is very, very operatic. It shows Greep's voice being used in a way we have never seen before, whereas usually he's doing more of like a talking with some flair. This song he is singing. This song is him. You can imagine him on a stage with a microphone in his hand singing the song. Lyricism is amazing on this song. They definitely took a big step up in their lyricism just overall throughout this album, and this song is one of their best in terms of lyricism. I'm going to be putting it in the A tier. I don't think it really holds up as well as the rest of the songs I have off of Hellfire, in the S tier. But shout out, this is I believe that this is my sister's favorite song by Black Midi. So yeah. So for our final song off of Hellfire, we have 27 Questions, which is again Black Midi at its best, peak lyricism and storytelling. It's a story about a man who seeks shelter in the night from rain, and he ends up in this club where there's a funeral, and it tells a story of a man named Freddie Frost and it's his funeral, and at the end of the song he rises out of his casket and he asks these 27 questions, and it is a perfect closer to the album. I couldn't be happier for this song to be the last Black Midi song that I was introduced to, I guess, because now that Black Midi's broken up, this is technically the last song in their discography, but I'm happily going to be putting this in the A tier. I do prefer this song over both The Defense and Sugar Zoo, but I don't think that I can put it in the same tier as all those other songs from Hellfire. Alright, so I know this video has been a little bit long, so I'm going to kind of wrap up my opinions of the Schlagenheim and Cavalcade singles as well as Cavalcover in kind of just one big sweep. 7-Eleven is a spoken word song over an alright instrumentation. Doesn't catch my interest like the rest of Black Midi songs. Next we have Sweater, which is almost a prog rock like song, and I love this song. I first listened to it after Hellfire came out, and I was just blown away. I was like, I didn't realize that they were doing this kind of thing so early on, because this was a single that was released before Cavalcade but after Schlagenheim. I'm going to be throwing this in the A tier. I really recommend you give this a listen. For Despair is probably my most listened to Black Midi song, just because it's a little bit shorter, and I really, really like the soundscape of this song, as well as the lyricism and Geordie Greep's vocals on it. I just love this song. Again, A tier. And then lastly, we have Cruising, which is kind of similar to Sweater. It's almost like if you mixed Sweater and Despair together. It's prog sounding, but it doesn't have that same feel where it's that long, drawn out song. It's a little bit more to the point, but again, has great lyricism throughout the track. I'm thinking a B tier for this. So, all right, so these are not included in the tier list. However, I did want to give them a little bit of a shout out and a mention. There are 3 songs off of a little EP called Cavil Covers, and it's Black Midi kind of putting their own twist on existing songs. And so to start off, I'm going to start off with Moonlight on Vermont. And out of the 3, this is probably my least favorite. I'd probably put it in the D tier, honestly. It's just not my favorite. Their cover of the 21st Century Schizoid Man, spectacular, phenomenal. I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love the King Crimson version. However, I think that there is just something that is over the top special about Black Midi's rendition of it. I would probably put that in the B or the A tier, kind of in between there. And then lastly, there's the cover of Love Story by Cameron Picton, and the song's by Taylor Swift, and they changed the lyrics around a little bit to make it their own. It's a funny song. I would throw it in the B or C tier, probably bottom of B, top of C. But I would recommend just giving them a listen if you do enjoy your time listening to Black Midi. It's just kind of something else that's out there that you can give a listen. All right, so that is going to be it for this Black Midi tier list video. If you haven't listened to Black Midi before, I recommend starting with Schlagenheim, going Schlagenheim, Cavalcade, Hellfire, then listen to the singles. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is my first, so obviously it's not going to be perfect. There's still some stuff I need to learn how to, mess around with, but I hope you enjoyed. Again, drop down your opinions of bmbmbm in the comments, and as well as what your favorite Black Midi song is. Make sure to tune in. I do want to do a review of the new Geordie Greek album coming out this Friday. I've been looking forward to it for a long time, so stay tuned for that, and stay groovy.